She's ignoring you and you think it means she doesn't care, but here's what I need to tell you as a woman who's done this. She's ignoring you because she's falling in love, and that terrifies her more than losing you. I know this because I've tortured men. I've ignored texts for days just to watch them panic. I've gone cold after amazing dates just to see them chase. I've tested 3 guys simultaneously to see who'd fight hardest for me. And I enjoyed the power, the control, the way I could make a confident man question his worth with just my silence, because the deeper a woman loves, the more she needs to test if you're strong enough to handle it. And what I am about to reveal will make you angry at every woman who's done this to you, the love. Paradox. Let me explain something that will change everything. You think you know about female love when we love you, it scares us. Not because love is bad, but because love makes us vulnerable and vulnerability feels dangerous. So we test you. We pull back to see if you'll chase. We go silent to see if you'll panic. We create distance to see if you'll crumble. Psychology research shows that people with deeper emotional investments are more likely to engage in testing behaviours. We're not testing because we're cruel. We're testing because the stakes are high. I remember the first time I really loved someone. I mean, really loved him. The kind of love that made me imagine a future, that made me consider changing my plans, that made me feel like I could lose myself, and that terrified me. So I started pulling back. Not because I wanted to hurt him, but because I needed to know if I let myself fall completely. Would he catch me, or would he run away when things got real? The only way to find out was to test his strength, to see if his feelings were as deep as mine, to know if he could handle me at my most difficult. But here's what's actually going through our minds when we start testing you. And this internal monologue will shock you. We test your foundation. Test your foundation when a woman loves you. She's not just choosing you for today. She's imagining you as the father of her children, as her partner through crisis, as the man who will lead when everything falls apart, and we can't risk giving our heart to someone who will break under pressure. So we create pressure. We withdraw our attention to see if you can handle uncertainty. We go cold to see if you can provide your own warmth. We stop validating you to see if you can validate yourself. Neuroscience shows that women's brains are wired to assess long-term stability through stress testing. We're not trying to hurt you. We're trying to see if you're built to last. I've ignored men I love deeply because I needed to know if I stopped being your cheerleader. Would you still believe in yourself? If I stopped being available 24/7, would you still have a life? If I stopped making you the center of my world, would yours fall apart? These aren't games. They're survival instincts, because a woman who loves deeply needs a man who can love consistently, even when she's not perfect, even when she's difficult, even when she's testing him. If these insights into female psychology are revealing how we really think, hit that subscribe button. I break down the testing patterns most women use subconsciously, and what I'm about to show you next will explain exactly how to pass our tests. But here's what you need to understand about timing. If you're in week 3 of her silence and still chasing, you've already failed how to pass the test. To pass the test, let me give you the exact playbook for how to respond. When we ignore you, when she doesn't reply for hours. Wrong response. Baby, why aren't you texting me back? Did I do something wrong? Please talk to me right. Response, complete silence. Plus, continue with your day. When she cancels, plans last minute. Wrong response, this is the 3rd time. Why do you keep doing this to me? Right. Response, no problem, have a good night. Then make other plans when she goes cold after being warm. Wrong response, what happened? We were so good yesterday. Did I say something? Right response, match her energy and focus on your own life. Here's the timeline of what we're watching. Week 1, your immediate reaction. Do you panic or stay calm? Week 2 to 3, your consistency. Are you still strong or breaking? Week 4, final decision. Did you pass or fail most healthy? Testing phases. lasts 2 to 4 weeks, maximum. If she's still testing you after 3 months, she's not deciding, she's controlling. Here's what's actually going through our minds during each phase. Day 1-3, why isn't he texting? Does he not care? Maybe I pushed too hard. Day 47, he's not chasing. Is he different? Or is he just playing games too? Week 2, I miss him, but I need to know if he'll stay strong. Week 3, if he breaks. Now, he was never the one. Week 4, he passed. I can trust him with my heart, but here's the crucial part. Every day you panic is another day. She loses respect. You have 72 hours from the moment she goes silent to prove you're different. After that, you're just another man who failed her test. My friend Sarah tested her boyfriend by going cold for 2 weeks. He didn't chase, didn't beg, didn't even ask what was wrong. He just lived his life. When she came back, she never tested him again because he proved he was unshakable. But here's the technique that made me completely obsessed with a man who used your reaction reveals everything. It on me, your reaction reveals. Here's what we're really watching for when we ignore you. Do you panic or stay calm? Panic tells us you're emotionally dependent. Calm tells us you're emotionally stable. Do you chase or lead chasing? Tells us you're a follower. Leading tells us you're a man. Do you shrink or grow shrinking? Tells us you'll crumble under real pressure. Growing tells us you'll rise to meet any challenge. I tested a man once by going completely silent for 3 days. Most men would have called, texted, shown up at my door, but he didn't. He went to the gym, he focused on his work, he lived his life. And here's what was going through my mind. Day 1, he'll text by tonight. They always do day 2. Why isn't he panicking? Does he not care about me? Day 3, who is this man? Why isn't he breaking like the others? When I finally reached out, he was the same confident man I'd fallen for. That's when I knew I could trust him with my heart, not because he didn't care that I was gone, but because he didn't need me there to be whole. And I became obsessed with him because he was the first man who didn't crumble under my test. The weak man's response, why aren't you answering? Did I do something wrong? The strong man's response, silence followed by purposeful action. We don't want the man who needs us to feel complete. We want the man who chooses us to feel fulfilled. But here's the dark psychology behind why we need to create this distance. And it's more twisted than you think. We're protecting our hearts. Protecting our hearts. Here's the truth. Most women will never tell you when we love you. We become terrified of losing you. So we pull away first, not to hurt you, to protect ourselves. It's psychological self-defense. Research shows that people with attachment fears often create distance to test their own emotional resilience. We're not just testing you, we're testing ourselves. I ignored a man I loved because I was scared of how much power he had over my emotions. He could make me happy with a text. He could ruin my day by being distant. He could make me question everything with a change in tone. That level of emotional dependency terrified me, so I pulled back to prove to myself that I could be okay without him, that I wasn't losing myself in the relationship, that I still had control over my own heart. But here's the twisted part. I enjoyed watching him wonder. I liked knowing he was thinking about me. I got a rush from the power of my silence. It made me feel like I mattered, like I had value, like I could control this strong man's emotions the way he controlled mine. But here's what I learned. The right man doesn't try to take your power away. He helps you feel powerful, even when you're vulnerable. He doesn't punish you for needing space. He gives you room to breathe and grow when you respond to our pulling away with patience. Instead of panic, you show us something revolutionary, that loving you doesn't mean losing ourselves, that we can be vulnerable without being powerless, that our hearts are safe with you, even when we're scared. And that realization is when we stop testing and start surrendering. But you need to recognize when testing crosses the line into something much darker. Toxic testing. Toxic testing, not all testing is about love. Some women use testing as an excuse for emotional abuse. Healthy testing Temporary distance, 2 to 4 weeks. Max eventually responds, even if delayed, has a clear resolution point. Toxic testing, silent treatment as punishment. Breadcrumbing just enough attention to keep you hooked, hot and cold. Cycles that never end. Testing you and other men simultaneously. I've seen women test men for months, even years. Not because they were deciding if they loved them, but because they enjoyed the power. Red flag, number 1, she tests you but gives other men easy access. Red flag number 2, the testing never ends. Red flag number 3, she punishes you for having boundaries. Red flag number 4, she tells you she's testing you. I watched a friend stay with a woman who tested him for 2 years. She would disappear for weeks, then come back expecting him to be grateful. She made him prove his love over and over while never proving hers. She told him, "If you really loved me, you'd wait however long it takes." But what she was really saying was, "I enjoy having power over you." That's not a woman who loves you. That's a woman who's using your love against. You know the difference. Protect yourself. But when the testing is healthy and you use our silence correctly, what happens next will blow your mind. Build. While she watches. Watches. Even when we're ignoring you, we're still watching. We see your social media. We notice your energy. We feel your response to our absence. When we pull back and you use that space to level up, it confirms everything we hoped about you. I remember pulling away from someone I loved because I needed space to think. Instead of chasing me, he used that time to start a new business project, get in the best shape of his life, reconnect with friends he'd neglected when I came back. I didn't find a broken man waiting for me. I found a man who had become more attractive in my absence. And here's what was going through my mind. Who is this man? He's stronger than when I left. He doesn't need me, but I need him. I made a mistake pulling away from someone this powerful. That's when I realized I didn't just love him. I respected him, and I was terrified of losing him. So what should you do when she goes silent? Hit the gym harder. Physical strength builds mental resilience. Focus on your mission. Show her you have purpose beyond the relationship. Improve your skills, become more valuable while she's deciding your worth. Strengthen your friendships, prove you have a life outside of her. Don't do these things to get her back. Do them because you're using her absence as fuel for your transformation. But here's the one mistake that will destroy everything you've built. And 90% of men make it. The second she returns. The return test. The return test when we come back after ignoring you. We're not done testing, we're beginning the most important test of all. Will you go back to being the same man we pulled away from? Most men fail this test immediately. The moment we show interest again, they drop everything to be available, start over-communicating to make up for lost time, go back to making us the center of their world. But the man who passes this test maintains the energy that drew us back. He's pleased to hear from us, but not desperate. He makes time for us, but doesn't cancel his plans. He's warm, but not overwhelming. I came back to a man once after testing him for weeks. I expected him to be relieved, grateful, maybe even hurt. Instead, he was exactly the same, strong-centered man I'd left. "Good to hear from you." He said simply, no anger, no neediness, no drama. And here's what was racing through my mind. He's not even excited. I'm back. Does he not care anymore? Did I lose him by testing him? Who is this man who doesn't need my validation? That response did something to me. It made me realize I hadn't just been testing him. I'd been testing myself, and I could handle loving a man who didn't need me to complete him. In fact, I wanted to, because his strength made me feel safe to be vulnerable. Here's the proof that this psychology actually works in real life. Success stories. Case 1, the success stories businessman. My friend tested her boyfriend by going completely silent for 10 days instead of chasing. He started a new workout routine, launched a side business, and reconnected with old friends. When she came back, she found a man who had become more attractive in her absence. She never tested him again. They're married now. Case 2. The artist, I tested someone by cancelling 3 dates in a row. Each time his response was, "No problem, let me know when you're free." By the third cancellation, I was the one chasing him. Case 3, the engineer, my sister tested her boyfriend by mentioning other guys constantly. He said, "Sounds like you have good options. Let me know if you want to explore those." Within a week, she was begging for his attention. Here's what all these men had in common. They didn't react emotionally. They didn't chase. When we pulled away, they used our absence as motivation to improve. They showed us their worth wasn't dependent on our validation. The men who pass our test become unforgettable. The men who fail become forgettable. And when you pass the test, something magical happens. The transformation. When you pass our tests, something beautiful happens. We stop testing, we stop pulling away, we stop needing to protect ourselves from you because you've proven you're not just a man who wants us when we're easy. You're a man who can love us when we're complicated. That's when our love transforms from fear-based to trust-based, from conditional to unconditional, from testing to surrendering. I remember the moment I stopped testing the man I eventually married. It wasn't because he proved he loved me. It was because he proved he could love me and still love himself. He could want me without needing me. He could miss me without losing himself. That's when I knew it was safe to love him completely, without holding back, without protecting myself, without testing, because I finally found a man strong enough to handle a woman's full love. The question is, are you that man? So, final reflection. Now you understand the paradox. If she loves you, she will ignore you, not to hurt you, but to test you, not to push you away, but to see if you're strong enough to stay, not because she doesn't care, but because she cares too much to give her heart to the wrong man. Your response to her silence will determine everything. Do you panic or stay calm? Do you chase or continue building? Do you shrink or grow stronger? The man who understands this paradox never loses, because he knows that her testing isn't rejection. It's the final interview for the most important job in her life. The man she trusts with her heart. If this changed how you see female behavior, smash that like button and subscribe for more psychology breakdowns that reveal what women really think. And here's what you need to watch next, my video on how to handle a woman who hurts you. Because understanding why we test is just the beginning. You also need to know how to protect yourself when that testing goes too far. Click that video.